All right, hello, hello, hello. You guys should be able to hear me. Sorry, I forgot to update the dates. I just did it on the Restream platform. So let's see. I know that it came across as 27, but it should be saying 28 now. Anyway, not necessarily a big deal. All right, so a little bit of craziness this morning. The BOE, we mentioned them being in an interesting spot, and the kind of rock in a hard place, and comments made by the new PM, and what the response was going to be, and what they're doing, and so they basically came out and they made a little bit of an aggressive stance. Kind of hard for the market to decipher it. Basically, in the statement, and again, if you want to read it, you can go. You can find it all over the place. Basically, talking about long-dated bonds. Okay, long-dated UK government debt. This actually puts them ahead. It kind of makes them a little bit more aggressive than what the Fed is doing. Thus far, the market is kind of looking at this as like, really? This is not a normal kind of statement, right? Again, still looking for that 2% inflation. This is not your normal statement, but quite an important one. It actually puts them, and it's kind of crazy. You're seeing all kinds of massive craziness with this one. And you're seeing, obviously, dollar, the two biggest movers across the board are literally pound yen, pound dollar, followed closely behind by the euro pound. And even the euro dollar really not moving tons, although it is kind of retracing a bit. So what's happening is, the Fed has basically said that, there's a couple of different ways to get rid of inflation. Again, obviously inflation and interest rates and things like that. Obviously there's a rippling effect that goes across. The Fed right now has basically just said that, we're going to let, bond purchases and things like that run off, and, the support they've given. And it's kind of a passive approach. And again, they're just raising interest rates. And again, we are spending more and more. The UK is taking a little bit of a different route. They know that these long-term bonds are basically crashing. It's providing some, I don't want to say problems, but eventually, yes, it will become problems. So they are taking some action there to prevent and avoid that. So the market is, I don't want to say not liking it, but it's obviously definitely a market-moving statement. And that's what's causing a lot of the craziness. Now, the craziness is bouncing it off of levels that we had marked off. Was this a prepared, planned, was this a typical, new setup? Should you have gotten into these? Probably not. It's a little bit, I don't know, I want to say it's kind of more on the crazy spectrum. Not crazy as in, what they said is just absolutely absurd, right? No, I mean, it does make complete sense. I would say they are doing the right thing, but the markets are having a very hard time deciphering, like, oh God, is this good? Is this bad? Because this is not normally what you see. But basically, it's kind of like it's like a quantitative easing, but it's not. Again, them buying long dated things it's kind of like an intervention. They're buying, not just selling or not doing anything. So it is a little bit different, but it is considered weakness. All right, so kind of hard to explain because it is more in the bond realm of things, and people are looking at this and it's like, wow. But they are trying to aggressively avoid things in the future, right? And again, you got to support them on this one. This is not a bad idea for them. I don't think this is the wrong thing for them to do. Okay. Anyway, besides that news, and again, quite blockbuster news, you're going to see it, here you go. By the way, here you go. MetaQuotes is working on restoring both MetaTrader 4 and 5 mobile apps to iOS on the Apple Store. So just another reason to be like, no Apple. No Apple. Besides that, there's not really a whole lot over here. Again, the BOE is the biggest news out there and what they could potentially be doing with it. So yeah, that's kind of it. And again, some of these things are just kind of like lip service, right? We need to give a strong signal that we won't allow inflation expectations to de-anchor us. Okay, great. I'm not challenging that we made some projection errors. You know what she means by projection errors? Do you know what she means? It's transitory inflation. their reserve projection errors. It wasn't transitory. And again, they are very much smarter people than me, and I'm not exactly sure how they were unable to realize that they weren't going to be transitory. Still have yet to figure that one out, but it's kind of crazy to think that both the Fed said transitory, it's called the ECB, right? Also was stuck on this transitory thing. We'll continue to hike interest rates in the next several meetings. I think that's, again, remember the EU is a little bit farther behind everybody else, so they're coming in. We must ensure inflation expectations stay anchored at 2%. And again, that's the right thing to do. I mean, it should be. That's what we're looking for. The question is, they already have, a couple people in recession. What's that going to do when they continue to raise it? And again, this is the problem. If you let something go too far, this is the kind of the backlash you're going to get, and that's kind of where they're at. So we should see some, there is some news, some headlines with, the BOE raising, and when they do it, that will make sense. And then kind of the backlash after the fact is, oh wait, what's the first comment? Hold on. These so-called leaders in finance are either dumb as a box of rocks or corrupt as hell, or a combination of both. But again, you can only make decisions based off the data you have. Right. So anyway, this is what we're looking at today. It's Wednesday. We obviously have oil in here as well. We have Bullard speaking. I think that'll be a very, Bullard and Power speaking at the same conference. You can see they carry the same weight. I think it'll be very interesting to see what they have to say. Right. I think there's a lot could happen. They could say a lot. But kind of, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting release because it is right around reversal time. But unfortunately, the problem is the pound has just got everything so jacked up right now. The won hits record lows against the dollar, which is great. I mean, that's not bad for them, right? It is awesome for them. Why? Because they are an export nation. But you know what this means? It's funny. It hits its low record lows versus the dollar. It basically means that they are going to buy less from us and we are going to buy more from them. That's what it means. So yeah, but again, a little speeches, a little home sales. Again, remember yesterday's the new home sales blew it out of the water, so this may actually give us a little bit in there. And then obviously tomorrow morning, bright and early, we got that Canadian news coming in. We have final GDP for the U.S. again, negative number, and the unemployment claims. We'll see what the unemployment claims does. So yeah, there's some data in the next 24 hours that's pretty decent. And again, some speeches, headlines, and I'm curious to see, I love this. Daily says the Fed does not want to tip the U.S. economy into a downturn. Yeah, they're not trying to, but remember they made the comments that they said that they may have to, right? So, it's nice, but it's not even doesn't even have a color. So, I don't know. I think there'll be comments about what the UK is doing and whether it's right or wrong or how it'll help or how it won't help. So, yeah, we'll see how that rolls. All right. So again, next 24 hours, some decent movement. Again, obviously some craziness, right? The VIX. VIX has been heading down. Again, none of this is necessarily U.S.-based data. And again, if you think about it, what do we have that can really drive anything right now? And I would say not much. Some speeches, but they're not considered, they're not supposed to be market-moving speeches. So, yeah, I mean, nice little pop, but I think this has the ability to continue to go lower. The dollar. A little bit of craziness with the dollar, right? Down, up, down, up, down, up. You're like, wait, what happened in the overnight? It's the Bank of England. Pretty simply. And again, it's bouncing off of a level right here, right? Again, we had a drop. We had a nice base for a couple hours and then boom, a pop off of it. And again, front run, hit as it goes through. And there's a little bit chop lower, but we should see this continue to get, a little bit weaker today. But again, Powell and Bullard speaking today, opening conference about inflation and everything else. Yeah, it could absolutely go higher. So, yeah. Right now with everything, I don't know, probably a bit more of a roll. And I wouldn't be surprised that I said yesterday, I think 113.50 is kind of where we're looking for like kind of an equilibrium. I still think 113 is just cuckoo, but it is what it is. Not much we can say about it. Indices right now, they're doing okay. Not bad. Again, seeing the dollar weaken and seeing the VIX. Again, the VIX up, typically you see red, but not really. It's been going down all in the overnight. You're seeing that so far, not the best places in any of the any of these guys. Again, Tesla was one of those ones yesterday that we said, oh look, running into a gap, and boom, it turned and rolled off of it. Commodities all up, and again with the dollar down a little bit, not necessarily surprised. And again, oil starting to move. I don't know if any of you guys are in the range of what is it, Hurricane Ian? I guess, is it Ian? We're supposed to have our team camping trip on Saturday, but there's now like an 82 or 86%, something like that, chance of rain. That's when I guess we're getting hit with it. So it's kind of like, we're going to be at a tournament all day in the rain. I'm going to have to move the camping trip. So yeah, hopefully you guys are out of the way. I know that they were taking some precautions, but I guess it's starting to hit Cuba. I think it's hitting Cuba. I think it made landfall. I'm not 100% sure. I just heard that it was going to strengthen a little bit. But I don't think it's supposed to strengthen to you're like, oh my God. Category 5 incoming. No, I don't think it's one of those. Anyway, Aussie dollar. So yesterday we talked about an area. We did actually have a little bit of a bounce off of it. Nothing crazy though. It ended up tagging at about 2 in the afternoon. I'm actually surprised we didn't get a little bit more. Gave us a little bit of a pullback and then just continued to grind through. So it's blown up a level, and this was a level from way back. So we can pull this level off right now, and you can see it did offer a little bit of resistance on this side. It bounced and bounced and bounced and then came through. And then what did it do? It kind of gave us that little Harry Potter and then came in and hit it again and hit it again and hit it again. So it's an area where there's obviously some interest, but not enough sellers really left out there to really provide much with it. Right now, I would say the only thing interesting for me, and again, this would be dollar weakness coming in, which is kind of what we're seeing right now. And, it is within close proximity, about 45 pips. There is a level where we came up, we based, and again, it did kind of hit back again, but it established itself as a new base, confirmation, and then run away. And again, not magically, that same level of area now is also in the 23. So, looking for areas to get into this one, that could be a decent one to sell. And you put it somewhere around there, right? Right there, right? So, again, kind of a combo-based system there. Looking for a little confirmation. And right now, if we get dollar weakness for the next 45 minutes, could be a decent turn and rollover, right? Especially with Powell speaking and everything like that, in the next 24 hours. So, decent one. I wouldn't say anything else is different. Just went a little bit lower. Bottom side on this one, again, really, really hard to get in the way of this. I don't even know. Let's see. See, problem is we're dealing with all this. And again, it's not necessarily the freshest because it tagged it there too. But, I mean, there's your 2 touches. Actually, that's already been hit. Oh, it's because it's pulled back so much. That's why. All right, so we know it's lower than that now. It's probably all the way down here. And again, not necessarily the freshest. It's hit it before, but kind of went off. All right, let's see how much room this gives us. Yeah, it's probably the next target. That'd be the next push down. How many pips are we talking? 170. Yeah, it's probably where we go to next. I'll mark this down here as kind of a, kind of our next downside target. We'll see what it does off of that, right? But yeah, so that's where it's sitting. 164.95. I'm sorry, not 64.92, right? 64.92 again. A little bit of a base pop, came back 23.6, all the same rollover at the same time. Aussie yen. So Aussie yen, talked about that Harry Potter coming through, and I'll extend this across, and you can see right there. Hit this one at 4:30 in the afternoon. Was it 4:30? No, 6. Actually, you get 2 different entries. But anyway, there's the Harry Potter. We talked about a profit target down to 92.45. This was about a 45. It says 42, but again, depending on which one of these 2 you use, whether you use the yellow one, there was your trigger. If you use the new one, you use it here. Either way, it doesn't really matter. Both of them triggered for about 40 plus pips on that one in the overnight, and then came down and grabbed and again, front run here and then smash into the full profit target. Had you run it all the way down the full profit target, it was about a 70 pipper, but the 1 to 3 that we originally set up yesterday was sitting right there, and it was right around 42 pips. So should have grabbed that one. That was pretty easy. Again, we can extend this all the way down now. Right, and looks like there was a little bit of a 23.6 and a kind of a pull off that again. Didn't quite hit it. It kind of got front round a little bit on that one. But right now, I would say, really, I think the next level that I'm really looking for up top, I mean, obviously some chop up in here would be this 94.13. It's the next level again. Base confirmation, and it's also, again, going to get helped by a little front run on 50%. Like I said, a little bit of hiccup in here, but not necessarily as interested on it. So we can adjust this one down. Again, target has been hit down low, right? We'll say that that's going to be the next target as well. Not necessarily, it did push it deep, so I don't, not as interested in that one. But again, nice little short. Pretty easy Harry Potter trade to grab. And again, it established itself and, 13, 14 pips risk. Got to like those all day long. And all you did was take a trend continuation in this one with the Aussie yen. Oops, spilled a little bit of coffee there. Missed my mouth. All right, so euro dollar. So euro dollar, it came down and we can adjust this. It's slightly lower, but not much has really changed in it. What we saw is coming through this 95.80. Right, and we kind of knew we'd have buyers in there, and it kind of tagged around, and again, it fluctuated with the same buyers, and it really formed a new base here, and then formed the bottom. And looking at this level, I mean, we can kind of mark it in. It's not the best formed level because it hit it. I mean, it did a lot of basing here. Obviously, there's buyers here, right? If there wasn't, the price would have continued to go lower. So buyers absolutely stepped in. Question is, what do we do with it now? Now, there's a bunch of chop in here. There is a level here, which I do like it. Whenever you can get something like that, right? Love those types of tops. So, I think right now, looking at 96.69. Or 67. We're like 30 pips away. Can we move 30 pips in 40 minutes? Yeah, absolutely. I think there could be a potential roll there. And again, that would be a little bit of a front run trade off the 23.6. There's a level a little bit higher at 97.03. But I think that this one is again, that would have to clear the 23. You got this level here, this level. I mean, really, there's a couple levels on top of each other. There's that level there. There's that level there. This one is the first one we have confirmed. So depending on how aggressive you want to get, there's a couple different places that you could get short this one. But again, we need a little bit more of a pop, and then that'd be a decent turn to roll over back down. Oh, excuse me. Yeah. I like either of those ones. I think those work good. All right, euro pound. So euro pound. It's a very interesting one. So we had fibs drawn, and we knew we had buyers stepping in. I mean, if I bring this across, and again, we'll do it this way. 558. Let's set this one to 558 so you can kind of see how this works. There you go. 558, 558. You can see that it went to basically the same exact spot. Actually, I'm a little bit high on the side, but it's okay. Here's the craziness of the BOE's comments. All the way down, found the same buyers down here, and then what did it do? It smashed all the way up right into that 50% level. I may have actually put this level on in a mentor session. I don't know if I did it with you guys or not. Anyway, once it drew all the way down, let me explain where it came from. There's the draw all the way down, and I said, ooh, look at that. There was a push up into that area. There is a wick behind the wall, and kind of you can see it there, but this is one of those ones. If you guys see formations like this, drop it to the lower time frame, look for some clarification. When you drop it down to a 15-minute, there you can actually see a decent body and kind of a level of basing. And again, it did pull back and take off, so it was okay. But basically, you just shrunk it down, and that's all we did. And again, extending that across, you can see that it was, about 20 pips worth of risk. And again, it made it well past. It actually went down. It actually went down 80 pips, but the 1 to 3 is sitting right there. It's 60 pips, 20 for 60. Again, parabolic move in because of that news, and boom, it rolled right back out again, and now it's going to stabilize up there again. So trade is kind of done for that one. It literally just triggered and got itself out at 8:30 this morning. But again, lots of craziness. You can see it was doing absolutely nothing, basing sideways before that announcement. That announcement, I think, was a little bit more surprising than most people will realize. But, for people that are looking for trade setups and may not fully understand, all the supply and demand aspects of things, this is why, again, if you're new on the channel, I am primarily supply and demand. But I will throw fibs out there because a lot of people like fibs, and fibs are not horrible. They use them wrong, and again, a lot of times they're better lucky than good. But here's the thing that's nice about it. When you kind of know what the general public is looking at, like, it's the same example, because I got this up, and this also came up as well in the session. They're like, why do you draw fibs now? Do you use fibs? Yeah, I use fibs as like a confirmation. I use it more for understanding what other people are looking at or what other people are doing, because I would like to get in before them. I don't want to be late to the party. Like, people think fibs is this great secret device. Trust me, all the big money out there knows exactly where the fib draws are. They have machines that do it. The machines will always be faster. There's a lot out there, guys, right? It's like a moving average, right? Everybody hears a moving average. It, on paper, it sounds like the greatest thing ever. Oh my God, I got it. The fast line and the slow line, and it's moving. It's wonderful. Yeah, you're right. But 99% of the people out there understand what those are. And it's the easiest thing to program in the world, a moving average crossover. And people are like, well, I'm going to do it here. I'll do it. Yeah, everybody knows. So when you know what the masses are looking at, it's a great way to take advantage of the masses. This is one of those things. Did it actually hit the 50? I think it came right up to it. One of those ones where, let's see. It is, let's show me. The 50 looks like, I think it actually, it would have been close, right? It would have been close. And again, I may be off just by a little tiny bit on my top draw and my bottom draw. I don't have the snap on. It's super, super close to if that was the exact turning point. And if it is, if we nailed it literally dead on there, it's more because this is where the sellers came in the past, not so much that there's a magical 50% line on there. So in this case, we know we have an area of sellers. We're looking for it anyway. Throwing the confirmation and throwing the extra people on at the 50, all that does is it gives you a higher probability to be right. And I say probability because that's all it really is. Everything in the market is a probability. There is no way for you to know. You don't have billions and trillions of dollars to know where money is stepping in, right? It's impossible. Nobody actually does, but the difference is, obviously central banks, things like that, they can say, oh, at that point right there, bam, we're going. But it's not like other central banks know, right? Anyway, this is one of those scenarios, right? Craziness in the market. It literally shot into a zone, but we were already looking for those sellers. It was already there. Right? And that's what led us back to the downside. So sometimes you do have to change your analysis methods a little bit. Typically, we like to stay on 30s, but in this case, the 30, I'll do it again. The 30 doesn't give you a clean draw. You could have done it with just the wick, but it's better to drop down and get clarification. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? The clarification made it actually a drawable supply zone. And again, pushed it deep, but that's okay. Again, remember, the lower we go down, the less reliable it is, but sometimes you need to do it to get an actual level of risk. Had you done it on the 30 and you try to draw it over here, you say, well, here's the risk. There's the risk. Yeah, you could have done that, and it hit here, and it hit here, and it hit here, but who the heck in the euro pound with the ATR that it has, who wants to take a 50 pip risk trade? Not me. I'm not taking it, right? That requires 150 pips in the other direction. That's like 2-3 days worth of movement. Why take that risk, right? Take the smaller risk. And if you have, if you're cool with 150 pips worth of risk and you want to risk that much money, great. In this case, if it was 50, you could have taken 2.5 times size your position and you were out. It's the same profit at the end of the day. It doesn't matter, right? If you're wrong, you're wrong, right? So yeah. Anyway, this trade is out. You guys are good. I think this one probably continues to roll. I think overall that although it is kind of more of a bearish thing, I think that the BOE being very proactive should be something that actually should bring strength back to them, because they're definitely trying to curb inflation, which again, curbing inflation will bring them back up to closer to where they should be. Euro yen. So Euro yen doesn't have the crazy swings. We were looking for 37.64 yesterday as an area. We were sitting right here. It really didn't do much, and then around late last night, it kind of dropped, and then here's the European market. So a lot of chop back and forth. Not really a trading-based thing, right? Like trading base is in like, here's the sideways channel, and yeah, we kind of broke out of it at 11 o'clock at night, and it kind of went down, and is it trending here? Not really. And it's kind of pulling right back up to that kind of level where the 23.6 is. I mean, this is an example. I didn't really love much with the 23.6, and it just chop. It just, there's really no true direction. The statements this morning, though, that we're getting, right? They have helped a little bit. I mean, basically talking about how we're not going to be blindsided. We are going to tackle inflation. You would assume that would have moved a little bit more. Let's see. I mean, from like where the speech came out, we're talking about 40 pips. You would think statements that pointed, right? That pointed about we're going to conquer it. We were wrong. We got it now. We're on the right path. You would assume that, there would be a little bit more bullish. The problem is everybody understands that, you already have your biggest industrial country in a recession. Yes. Getting rid of inflation is very, very important, but it's kind of like, I don't know. I hate to use this analogy, but the way that inflation is used to interest rates are used to battle inflation, it's kind of almost it's like chemotherapy for the market, right? Chemo does not pick just bad cells; it kills good and bad cells in your body, right? It's technically horrible. It's poison, right? Raising interest rates is kind of the same thing. It hurts. It hurts everybody, right? And again, with Germany, the main driving force of the ECB already being in a recession, not necessarily what you want to hear. So it's kind of like a mixed signal. So again, a lot of chop back and forth. Right now being sideways. There are levels of sellers up here. Are they great areas? Not really. They've been tested a few times. Again, it did channel there for a while. I think 140 is still a great level to come back up to. If and when we can get up there, it's kind of falling in the middle of nowhere. But right now we kind of have the sideways channel here. Right, we've talked about this kind of sideways channeling, and we're back in it. And we've talked about obviously buyers down below, and we've been unable to get back down there. So it's starting to consolidate in. We really need some big news out of the euro, yen, to really start getting some trades in. All right, so you can see right now it is moving up a little bit, maybe because the indices are all in the green right now. You're seeing that weakness come in. Look for this to kind of hit this upper side here, 139.30, and probably roll back down. Pound dollar. So pound. Yeah, so we were talking about this one pushing back down, and it did. And we talked about, setting up some type of a Harry Potter trade. And this is a hard one because, look, it based, did not give us an entry, and then smashed all the way down into our profit target. So, unfortunately, this is one of those ones that can't really be a trigger. Again, we hit it here. There's 3, there's 4, there's 5. Technically, we're still there. Kind of there's 6. I mean, at this point, it's like, listen, if it breaks, it's going. It did. It broke. We could drag this across and say, yep, we talked about that. We had it marked off, and it grabbed that and went down. Unfortunately, I would say this is probably not one of those Harry Potters you wanted to take. I mean, once it smashed through the top, yes, if it came in based again, you could have gotten into this one, but once it smashed all the way down into the target, you kind of got to remove it. So, I mean, we talked about it. Had you taken a pinch through, maybe you would have gotten in trouble with this one, but again, kind of a surprise movement. Let's say, we can leave it there, but you really can't do much with it. So, let's see. The next break on that one I don't care about. It will be the 78, so I'm not concerned. Bring that over. I don't even know if I'd use this level again. We could shrink it and say that there was the new top put in about 3 o'clock this morning. But with it being pushed, it's like, Trying to kind of bracket this one off is where we're kind of looking tops and bottom wise. I don't think we use this one anymore because with this, it smashed them all the way through. There's maybe a couple left up top. I'd say probably up here. Where's it at? 109. Problem is this one, we're sitting right in the middle, right? No, we got sellers, although not that many. No, we got buyers. Again, we had it marked off yesterday. We're sitting right in the middle, not really an area where you just want to kind of pick and choose it. If anything, I'd probably say that I expect some dollar strength to come back in. We've seen dollar weakness all morning. I would expect this one to kind of roll back to the downside. I don't have a level that I can define and say, yep, that's good. I guess, let's see. Fib people are probably trying to sell it right now too. But the reality is there much there? If you erase this, there's a level at the 61 that you could take, but I think there's better opportunities. I don't necessarily love this one. Looking at the pound yen, also kind of the same thing. We had set this one up. Whoops. We had set this one and mentioned as well. Again, wasn't really enough because there was some sellers right above it, and you can see base, chop, chop, chop. and it came right back in the same area. And again, where this top section was here, you can see there, that's what it ran into here. And this one didn't make it all the way back down again. It should have been there. Again, not as good of a trade. And again, if you caught the spike, great. It was a legitimate spike. But, you know, with all this basing here, it was like, yeah. So, yeah, being smack in the middle, I don't know. We'll see if we get a little bit of help with the yen. But I don't really love these 2 pound trades after the comments they made today. I think people are so confused. It's like, what the heck do we do with the pound? I just, not a huge fan. All right, so dollar CAD. So yesterday I talked about dollar CAD rolling back down a little bit lower, and I mentioned that this level here would probably be where we're looking for it to come to, and it kind of bounced and came up. It went a little bit higher in the overnight. 530 is actually where the peak was, and it reversed back down, and we're kind of in that territory right now. You know, kind of this level right here. We're sitting in it right now. With the time that we're rolling and the fact that it's been pushing down, I think some of this has to do with oil being up another 1.5% today. But as much as I want this to come down, I think we probably get a little bit of a bounce right here. It's not my favorite area for a level, but you can move this up top, and you know, I think the top on this one is probably decent, but right now, again, I think this turns and rolls back up again. You know, again, when we get down and when we break 135.60, looking for the short here, absolutely think that's decent, but I don't think, you know. Question is, have we gotten any headlines? Oh, it's 10.10. 10.10 and 10.15. So they're not quite there yet. I think they talk about strong dollar. So I do think that this pops up again. I mean, I guess it is hitting this level. I don't know. Let's draw it. Let's see. Look, 3 is right there. It's not even back up to that zone. So, yeah, I guess there's a potential trade in there. And again, you're going into this with tiny risk. What is it? Well, I guess that's. Wow, is that really? That's 40? Yeah, it's 40 pips. A lot of risk. See how much it's popped. 29. Yeah, if you could find something cheap, it's not bad. Yeah, I mean, with those 2 guys speaking, if they say anything, I mean, obviously Bullard's going to come in with strong, and if Powell kind of echoes that would be dollar strength. Again, you would tend to see this going higher. So, it's a speech, it's an opening remark, so you know, take it for what it's worth. 40 pips is a lot for the dollar CAD, though. That's a lot of risk on that one. And we're on a 30-minute chart. That's the crazy part. Right? So, yeah. A little bit nuts. Dollar Swiss. All right. So, you can see dollar Swiss. We talked about 95.50 yesterday. It looks like actually we opened at 95.50 this morning. So, again, became a decent area. And you can see, look, we bounced off that again and kind of put through. It definitely likes that 99.12 number. Anyway, there was the top from yesterday, and we literally just came back up and grabbed it at the European Open and drove us down. And I was actually a decent runner. This is one of those ones that I looked at and was like, oh, crap, I missed that one. We drew it yesterday, but again, I don't always take my own advice, unfortunately. There are definitely some trades I throw on that I'm like, oh, man. Yeah, and that's the cost of having little children. And I can't take all of them. I mean, again, you should be a specialist in the positions you trade. You shouldn't broadcast the net out there of 60 different potential trade setups. That's not what you want to do. And with dollar Swiss, you know, we talked about it rolling back, and it did. I actually have an alert higher than this one. That's probably why I didn't come back and look at this one. Again, dollar Swiss is one that on my trading time, I tend not to look at as much. All right. I set the trades up for you guys, but I don't trade it as often. It's one of those pairs that I just, you know, I don't love it. It has some really, really great setups, but it's not one of my mains that I look at on a regular basis. If I don't find anything elsewhere, then yeah, I'll use it. But if I find something elsewhere, it's kind of farther down the list. So right now we are at an area. Again, we are back at a 23.6. We will see people stepping in. Buyer stepped in here and here. There's a level lower, but it's hit it like 4 times. But again, approaching that 10 o'clock time frame, we saw the Aussie, the Euro, the Pound, and even the dollar CAD. They're all getting to levels where we're running into the opposite. We should see dollar strength kind of coming back into the market, as well as, let's see, what is the Dixie doing right now? Yeah, and the Dixie's kind of pulled back again. It's ran into those sellers. So, question is, now do we have a reversal back into that the 114.50 range? That kind of makes sense. Whoops. That kind of makes sense with the speeches that we are hearing. Where is it? I lost it already. So, again, will there be some people getting this one long? Probably. Like I said, I don't know that I would use this a little bit lower level, but again, this trade just came out. That was a 18 for 50. So again, nice little run in the overnight. All right. But now would be the time where we start to see this kind of move back to the top side. Dollar yen. So dollar yen, man, it's holding that 145. Look at this. Came up. It did tag the 145 at about 1 o'clock yesterday, and then really just slow. So it's 145 is such an interesting level. It's kind of like, where will the BOJ pull the trigger again, or like what will they do? Because they're going to let they already did what they need to do. They got to see it work a little bit, right? Question is, what will they do? What will be the next thing that they kind of do? And, will the markets kind of adjust, right? Right now, I think we go back up. I think we travel to 50 pips back up to the 145. I think, of the two levels, 145 obviously is one. And with another one being down here, we're kind of in the middle. I think we go up before we go down, unless there's some crazy response that one of those two guys says. I think we come back up and touch 145 today. I don't really have an entry on it. Again, I typically need a definable zone. I guess there's one over here. It's okay, but it did not. This zone worked just fine, but it's not my favorite zone in the world. And it's bounced what? It's bounced like 28 off of it, but it's all right. We'll see. Any of the cryptos? Crypto is having a little bit of problems. Talking about regulation yesterday, I was like, oh, look at that, 20.5, but bam, now we're back down and we're breaking the 19 mark again. So kind of not looking great, although it's only a 0.05. It's it closed where it opened, but obviously it's lower on the chart. Ethereum looks very, very similar, went a little bit even deeper, and then Dogecoin the same way. TLT, you're seeing nice little run up in TLT, which is kind of like, bonds. And if you're wondering why bonds all of a sudden took a big pop, the BOE did mention buying long-term bonds, and it's something that a lot of people are like, well, the United States is not doing that. The United States is just letting them run off and letting them waste, right? Kind of made people think about, hey, wait a second, maybe will the U.S. follow suit and buy those longer term to kind of stabilize the markets a little bit more? I think that's why we had the pop in TLT. But at the same time, we'll see what the guys have to say today. If there's a slowing in interest rates, look for it up. If they have a hawkish, it should roll back down into this 101 figure. And again, we're at 102.95. It's a decent drop. And again, trade this in traditional options, probably the best way. I mean, you could trade the ETF, but it's better to trade the options on the ETF than just trading the ETF itself. Commodities. All right, so here's a level. We talked about it being the base on the bottom, and you can see we tagged that at 3 o'clock this morning. Europeans sent this one higher again. And again, I mentioned earlier, again, basically been straight up, and we went right back up into this 23 level. Mentioned the hurricane. Again, right now, not expected to disrupt too much out there. The last I heard, it hadn't changed trajectory whatsoever. Maybe a little bit, but not enough that all of a sudden it's like, oh, that's it. It's going to be, the market's being wrecked. I think we're still okay with this one. Not necessarily surprised because, again, there is some disruption. People are starting to think about it now. The oil industry would have priced it in probably Friday-ish of last week. So question is, what is all this movement today? It's probably a combination of different things. And again, it could be some of the BOE, could be some of the EU getting aggressive with things because all the data looks good. It could be China's data, as well as, again, our data has been looking pretty good too. So a lot of reasons why, but again, you can see it based off that old bottom on that old draw. We are at a 23.6 level. Again, we tend to have a little bit more bullish. Let's see, API oil inventory report. I had not pulled it yet, so let me see. Nope, don't need that. Don't need that. They're showing, and here's the API report. So, expected to be a bit neutral, and they came in with 4 million surplus yesterday. That's what we saw yesterday, right? And what is oil doing? You think, oh my God, this is so bad for oil. There's 4 million extra barrels. Okay, so oil inventory sent it down, came out in here. Sent it down a little bit, but Europeans like, no. So I'd say depending on if we can rally, we got about 15 minutes. It's obviously not stabilizing yet. Let's see if we have anything for the news trade today. Yeah. Um, Not stabilizing yet. Wow. Yeah. Not stabilizing yet. I wonder if anybody knows the data already. Right? Yeah. Hmm. Actually, this should be here, but it's already taken that turn. Hmm. We're 15 minutes out. If we can hold here, then it's a short, but it looks like somebody's already gotten the data. That's a 40 it's a 40 cent pop in the last 2 minutes. Kind of looks like somebody already knows the data, right? We're probably getting headlines too, yeah. Oh, look at this, Bostic. Wow, Bostic said it. I love this. U.S. recession is not a foregone conclusion. Unemployment rate seen increasing to only 4.7, 4.1. The lack of progress means Fed will need to be moderately restrictive with rates in 4.25 to 4.5. Well, here we go. Look, he's done more. But again, Bostic's saying that the baseline is 7.5 increase in November and then a 50. I mean, that's another 1.25. That's decent out of Bostic. I didn't realize Bostic was speaking today, but okay. Pending home. See, look at this. The new home sales was great, but the pending, they got obliterated there. It's double. I'm looking for these headlines. Here we go. This is what I was looking for. First time in 3 years. Yeah. He hasn't said anything yet. I haven't. Give us the meat. Give us something good. But look at Bostic coming out here. Bostic throwing some stuff out there. Pelosi? No, Pelosi doesn't matter. I think Pelosi does literally everything that Pelosi can to stay out of the news when it comes to the markets. Yeah, she's the one. Yeah, we want to talk about insider trading. Yeah, if Pelosi was a Republican, that's all you would be hearing about is insider trading. But Pelosi is not. Yeah, Pelosi is insider trading. I'm telling you right now. I mean, the Democrats, they control the media for the most part, particularly like social media, things like that. If Pelosi was a Republican, the stuff that the husband pulled with the $1 million position, yeah, yeah, definitely. That's why there's the reason why there's no insider trading bill. So every other industry in the world has like insider trading rules. Congressmen don't, even though they make policy that changes, everything in the United States, right? They don't have, they can still trade things, and yeah. That's why we don't have it, is because the politicians, and Pelosi is one of the big ones. Anyway, so it looks like we're getting some movement here. Now, oil looks like it's starting to hold high here. This could be a sign that we are going to take a drop in oil today. Again, seeing a run up and seeing a top put in, it is already in a zone. It kind of went out a little bit, but again, you got to be a little bit more fluid with it. Again, could there be a surprise in the number? Sure, there is, but right now it's looking like this is kind of where we're looking. Again, it's run up pretty fast, and there is a zone there, although it's only like a 2 candle hold. I would like to see, I really want to see like this. This is a hold. This is what I'm looking for right here. This is not so much it, right? Not necessarily the best hold on that one. So, problem I have with oil right now is you have Bostic talking about raising things, you have Powell talking, and you have Blurred all at the same time. So, yeah. You got 3 people. You have one guy that's trying to become relevant, one guy that is relevant, and the other guy who should be the most relevant. So it's all messed up. But yeah, right now it looks like we are short in oil. All right, natural gas. We don't need to look at natural gas on this. We can go back to on 30. So natural gas, these are the levels we talked about yesterday. I haven't really touched natural gas at all. You can see we came down and tagged it at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, took a nice rally back up again, kind of went back up to that 50% level, rolled back down, grabbed it again, and then started to pull off of it. It's up slightly. I think that it will go probably higher. I wish they would all shut up. Yeah, it would be nice if they did, if they focused on it, I don't know. The amount of resources that we waste on things that are not necessarily important, they're not important to me. I mean, they're important to them because they just care about politics, not fixing things. But I absolutely feel, like being from the financial services industry, you got to understand, as a financial service representative, like I was not allowed to trade. You think that's crazy, but they're worried about insider trading, and you have all rules and regulations. And with Melissa being in the industry still, I have rules and regulations traded on me. I'm a U.S. citizen, but I don't have the same rights as everybody else because of my wife. She works in the industry, and they're worried about insider trading. But yet, Pelosi can take Mr. Pelosi takes $1 million position 3 weeks before Biden cancels the pipeline. Did he know about it? Did Nancy know that was going to happen? Yes, she absolutely did. Did she probably share it with her husband? Yes. Is he an idiot? Sort of, but again, he took, imagine if Trump had, imagine if one of Trump's closest allies had done a huge position like that after he funded the pipeline or something like that. Imagine the backlash. But again, that just shows you that politics is not really a fair realm, right? So anyway, natural gas. As I said yesterday, natural gas, again, as long as the hurricane doesn't turn and mess up natural gas supply, we should be okay. Everybody says the signs are good. There's not some major other, natural disaster coming out there. I think right now the focus has to be on kind of hey, listen, but these buyers can't hold up forever at 660, 650. I think right now, as long as there's no major changes, which is something that we can't predict, I think this one looks and turns the roll back down again. So I would have to say my opinion on natural gas is still kind of in the negative. And you may say, hey, listen, it's September. Why the heck is this going all the way back down? It was at 10. You're right. But right now, we're doing okay. We're not missing. We're doing fine on the guidelines. Russia hasn't gone crazy. The hurricane hasn't blown up U.S. supply. We're doing okay. Also, remember, too, there is a major kind of exporting bit in the Gulf area for natural gas. But remember, a lot of the natural gas supply is actually up in Pennsylvania, right? A little bit more protected, the infrastructure-wise. So it's definitely one of those things that we're good at. Now, gold. You're seeing gold creep up. Now, yesterday we talked about gold coming down, and it did. Yesterday we were sitting right here. Let's see, where are we? Right here is where we were talking about gold. And we said, hey, listen, there's a level, a larger time frame level. We moved this up to 1622 from 1618. It did end up coming down and grabbing the 1618 early this morning, and 5:30 was the bottom, and then it took off again. And you may wonder what the heck is happening here. Why? Well, this is the data from the BOE. Right? Talking about inflation and when you're starting to do with bonds, that's kind of one of those, again, it's kind of pushing. So the question is, what do you do with it? So we have the two levels. We talked about, again, I need to adjust this target slightly down. And you can see that the 23, it was kind of tested, but we knew that the levels were higher, and we knew we had two of them. Typically, we take the farther level. The farther level is what hit. Again, the BOE was kind of unexpected in what they said today. So the fact that it popped, not surprising based off of what they said. But again, 0.75 being the baseline, and then the baseline being 0.5, it's pretty much assuring we have at least another 1.25, cranked into the interest rates. I'd say, my opinion on this one is yesterday we said down and it came down and grabbed our targets. I would say that today is probably the same thing, coming back down. And I think first target back to the downside is probably sitting there. I would say right here is probably where we're going to look for. So if you can find if you can get into a decent short, if you can find the right product for this one, 16. Here, we'll make it a little bit better. 1626.50 is where I would shoot for gold in the next couple days. Again, huge push up. Again, it makes sense because of the BOE, but yeah. Look for this one. They're kind of trying to go. Now, silver. Silver's up, and again, we got to adjust this. We talked about silver coming back down again. Right now, this is where we're at with silver. You can see the 23 held absolutely no resistance, which is a shame because I actually kind of like that level. This is one of those ones that, just didn't work out. There was a level there. There was a confirmation, but you know what? Based off the news today, it just got blown through, and it is pushing back up, and this is an old level of basing that we had, this 1865. We talked about that being a major level across here. It's not so much of a level now, but that's what we're turning off of. You can see now with the new low, the 50 has actually come into a level we talked about. And we said we had three levels yesterday. Well, the bottom one now, look at this. 50 is bracketed off this bottom one. The second one now is bisected by the 61.8. And the third one, it's kind of backstopped. And again, the third one now isn't actually backstopped as much as we would like, but it's a 786, and I don't care about that one. But the two levels that we did draw, now with this new bottom, 50, 61.8, and again, one candle top, huge explosion out. Again, one candle top, nice explosion out of the bottom. So they're both in good levels. Now, this is one of those ones that just sucks, and it doesn't matter if you're like, see, I know it didn't work. Well, guess what? It didn't matter what you used. If you used the supply zone, and again, it was a decent pullback. Again, it was a one candle base, and again, you don't typically like this as much, but it did touch it and go off. You got to love it for that, and it failed. As far as the 23.6 for fib traders, guess what? it failed. You know, again, sometimes even the double kind of confirmation of things do not work, and that's fine. Not everything's going to work. It's just that's why we have defined risk. That's how we use stop losses. Silver again should be 2 times what gold is, and it's not. It's just barely above. So, you know, and it looks like oil is what is oil doing? Let me see. What was the actual number for oil? Oh, they're calling for a 2 million surplus. Oh, that's interesting. Here they were calling for just a slight, and it was 4. They were calling for a 2 million. Oh, it's only 24. Oh, sorry. I was like, wait. Sorry, I misread that. Misread that one. Look, it's stabilize. It's trying to do its stabilization. Oh, it's trying. It pulled back to grab some more orders. It's trying. Yeah, somebody knew with this pop and then pull back again. It's somebody knows the data. Somebody knows. All right, let's check out. Let's check out the indices. Let's see. No, I don't need that. VIX is popping, obviously, with Powell speaking. Actually, Bostic probably screwed that one up a bit. What's the dollar doing? Dollar's trying. What did we make it down to? 113.76. Maybe within 20 cents. Made it within 20 cents. Whoops. And we're looking for that one. It's trying. It's trying. I'm curious to see what happens with this with Bostic saying 0.5 for December. That yeah, we're in for 7.5 and then 0.5 next time. My question was, would they be a point set? My big question was, are they going to do a 0.5? Are they going to lower it to 0.5, 0.5? Or are they going to do a 0.75 and then wait? But it looks like they're doing 0.75 and 0.5. So, interesting. All right, let's see what we had at open today. And again, this is a little bit riskier of a time for the open today. Why? 1, the BOE, but 2, you have 2 guys speaking that are pretty big guys. So, you know, a little bit dangerous as far as opening print goes. Let's see. It's 9:15. So we had the 9. 9 is there. We didn't really get the push, right? Normally we want to see a push from 9 to 9:30. We didn't get the push really. 8:45. Problem with this one is we're kind of, I don't know, is it even a 50? It is, but you can see it didn't do much. Let's say not really. I mean, if you're looking for, if price is here, right, at 9 o'clock, right? If this is your 9 o'clock window, I mean, there's a zone, there's a little zone there, right? You may say, okay, well, that's a sell, right? That's a sell. Probably more of a sell, but the 9 o'clock window, I guess it kind of pushed us up. It's an okay, I guess it's okay. I don't know. There's our box on the other side. Would we have had 3? Problem is this one kicked in at 8:30 this morning. Would have been close. Would have been close. 9:15. Actually, don't know if this one would trigger or not. 8:45. See, the hard part about this one is, so typically we're looking from that 9 to 9:30 to drive it down into the zone. So the zone was formed at 8:45. The 9 o'clock window actually drove it down into this little zone, which is fine, and then drove it up again. And then the 9:25 drove it down again, and then the 9:30 drove it back up again. So it's like, I mean, you got 3 quick hits immediately, and it's like, it shouldn't hold. It shouldn't hold. I mean, question is at 9:25, would you have gotten short this one? Huh. I don't know. This one is close. Depending on how aggressive you wanted to be and how much you wanted to dive into this one, you know, it was really basing right there. And if anything, you're looking for a pullback to get in. I would say that it kind of, with it driving down from this 8:45, you'd be more looking to go long, but it didn't go into a zone. There was nothing until lower, so it would definitely not have been a long entry. Maybe if you were like, oh, look, it hit a zone, but it's kind of like we had already come up and grabbed it, and then we kind of tested off of it. Like, do you want to go short on that one? again, one of the rules is, between the 9 and 9:30, you typically want it to pull to the zone that you want to trade off of. It had just formed the zone and actually went away from it during that time. So kind of doesn't qualify. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna have to say no today. This would not have been, and like I said, I'd love to tell you like, look, another one triggered. I don't think this one, again, a little sketchy. I mean, with the candle being there at 9:30, it's like, do we go short? It needs to find a zone, right? And with it turning right there, it's like, not really. NQ, let's see what NQ. It's kind of the same chop back and forth, right? The 9:30 candles here. The 9 o'clock candle is here. I mean, maybe a short on this one as well, but there's the original zone, right? There's the original zone. It hit, and it didn't even tag it because 9:30 is right there. So no, this one would not have hit, and it didn't pull back to a zone. So NQ is definitely no. 8:45, 9:30. Yeah, it didn't pull back either way. Again, it started giving us the pullback. No, this one didn't trigger either. And again, look at this. This sucks. This is 3 in a row. Let's see, what do we got here? 8:45 to 9. No, it didn't make it either. 9:30. No, so it looks like none of them today. Again, too much basing at the open, right? Too much kind of sideways movement. I mean, if anything, you would have been tempted to take some shorts, but I think the shorts actually hitting at 8:30 and then kind of going off of it with buyers below it right here, kind of iffy. And you can see there's no real movement. I mean, really until 10:15, it did nothing, right? Nothing at the opening. Nothing at the opening. It literally just chopped back and forth. And again, nothing at the opening here either. So, yeah, not really the best of mornings. I love oil sometimes. So, look at this. And there's a little bit of surplus. Whoops, missed it by 4. Over here where they say, hey, listen, 2 million surplus. Nope, a little bit down draw. This is why oil absolutely cracks me up, right? Oil is like such a crap. It's like roll the dice. What's the forecast? What's the actual, right? It's like they roll the dice every time. It's all over the place. It's so hysterical. So, yeah. So I would say, I mean, really on the opening prints today. Again, having Powell speak 30 minutes afterwards kind of sucks. There wasn't necessarily as much moves there, but none of them really had amazing setups. And you can see basing until 10:15. Why did the market move at 10:15? Well, we had Bostic and Powell talking. That's it. Otherwise, the market did nothing today. So really not your best opening prints at all. Oil probably is popping. Yeah, definitely a pop on that one because they didn't even get close. Right, it was a total miss on that one. And again, we saw this pop beforehand is kind of interesting. Right, so again, not really. We didn't really get any of the basing that we liked on it. So I don't know. Maybe you took a small loss on this one. It made it to. Had you gotten short off that where we talked about it, it was about a 1 to 7. Right. Second one would have gone to 1 to 8. So probably stopped out at break even. Worst case scenario. But yeah, so oil all over the place today. And again, not really the trade setup we're looking for. Not really the basing. We want this, not this. So, whatever. Kind of a weird morning. So, again, BOE setting it off. So, all right. Look at this. Already coming back down again. Look at the retracement in this one already. Look, 42. It's less than dollar Swiss right now. And again, dollar Swiss should be taken off. Remember that dollar strength we talked about coming in? There we go. Or actually, there's dollar weakness right now. Oh, crap. I moved it. We'll see if we get the reversal now. Actually, this should be lower. I'm not sure why we cranked all the way up there. Right there is fine. I don't know why we had that full one. I'm sure there was a reason. I do not remember the reason, though. So, all right, let's go ahead and do the drawing for today. So, Sean won yesterday. So, Sean's going for a double. He'll go for 100. Everybody else is going for 25 today. All right. Somebody is sleeping again. I don't know if I was talking or not. All right, I'm going to shut down. I know he tries to get in at that last moment. Ernest had this play for a while. He did this forever. He was like, yeah, I'm going to get in at that last second, and then I'll win. And sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't work. So, all right. With that said, closing the drawing down. The winner of today's drawing is... Actually, Sean got in at the last minute. That just popped up on my screen. Neuro. How many Neuro go with? Neuro went in with 3. Neuro had a 30% chance of winning. Neuro's taken a couple losses in the last couple of days where he had the big blind and lost. So he was kind of due. I kind of had a feeling that was going to happen, Neuro. I was kind of like, and Sean, I was like, I'm not going to say anything. I was like, Neuro went in bigger yesterday and didn't win. Ernest went in bigger, didn't win. I felt like Neuro was due. Yeah. My money was on Neuro today. I actually kind of, without Ernest in there, I was like, yeah, Neuro's taking it today. I kind of assumed. I was looking at it. I was like, yeah, Neuro's playing it. He knows it too. So nice job. All right. So let me, again, make sure tomorrow morning, make sure you guys are slightly careful. There should be some overnight trade setups in there. Again, there's a Swiss. So dollar Swiss actually may be something to look at tomorrow morning with one of their governors speaking. Could be an interesting trade setup. And then again at 8:30, we got some CAD news. So watch where this dollar CAD moves. So moving down, again, that's more CAD strength. Is it preparing for this dismal number, followed by, again, GDP confirmations -6. So there is some news tomorrow morning. The 200,000 barrels, it's like nothing. Yeah. I love that. I love oil. Oil is it's like the most technically traded market in the world, and they're just all over the place with their data. So, all right. So, thank you guys for joining me today. I will catch you guys same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Again, watch these 8:30 setups in the morning, and again, we'll go from there. Hope everybody has a good trading day, and we'll see you soon. Take care.